What if you could live like there was no bandwagon to fall off or climb back onto again? This was actually one of my most downloaded episodes, so I thought it was a perfect time to share it again as we wrap up summer and step into that back-to-school energy. It always feels like a fresh start this time of year, doesn't it? As you listen, you'll hear a few holiday references because the original episode was recorded the week before Christmas, but the message is just as powerful now. You can apply this no bandwagon mindset to any season of life, any weekend celebration, or any time you're deciding what kind of routine you want moving forward. You'll also hear me mention my Feel Light Mind and Body clients who began in the fall, so they'd feel supported through the holidays. The same opportunity is available for you now, and I'll share more about that at the end. Welcome to episode 134. Hi, I'm Clarinda, and you are listening to the Feel Light Mind and Body podcast, created for women like you. Women who are experiencing success in so many areas of life, but are struggling with weight loss, stress eating, and decreased energy. Losing weight can feel hard, heavy, and restrictive. That's why every week I will be offering you a different perspective, tips, encouragement, and a unique approach so that you can feel lighter in your mind and body rather than feeling deprived, frustrated, or discouraged. What if you could feel free, yet in control around food for the rest of your life? What if you could enjoy your experience of losing weight and getting healthier? You absolutely can. You're in the right place. Take this time for yourself and let's dive in. Hello again. I hope you had a peaceful Christmas, whether it was a happy one, a time of grieving, or mixed emotions holiday, which is probably most typical. Regardless, slowing down and being present is what most of us really need. I'm keeping this episode shorter, but of course, thought-provoking, especially as this time next week we'll have entered into a new year, the time we probably reflect the most as a whole. What if you could live like there was no bandwagon? Think about it. How freeing would that be to not be continually falling off of the bandwagon and then dread having to get back on it next week or maybe prolonging it even until next month? Now, some people have chosen to discard any concept of a bandwagon out of sheer frustration and exhaustion, or they're tired of being negative towards themselves and how that makes them feel. Unfortunately, for many, that also means settling for being overweight in order to feel freer. That works great in the present, but maybe not so great a few years from now. That's why my passion is empowering so many people to find their healthy balance and to be able to feel free yet in control of what they think and do while getting the results that they want and deserve. I've encouraged my Feel Light Mind and Body clients to be deliberate in continuing to practice this no bandwagon mentality over the holidays. They've been learning so much about themselves, their brains, their hormones, and their habits, and are much more aware of their self-talk. I'm excited to hear how they experience this season, and I'm curious if they felt more connected without relying on what everyone else is eating or drinking to do so. Our collective goal was to look at this as an experiment, an opportunity to practice, and just to see how they show up differently this year compared to last year. Last Wednesday was our last group coaching session. I did a poll asking how confident they were in going into the holiday weekend, and then we explored where they needed some help in their mindset and planning. I'm wondering how they made out, and I'll find out tomorrow in the private group. I'm confident in saying that no one will have been perfect, including myself. We don't strive for perfection. We focus on what is nourishing and nurturing, and sometimes that includes eating off plan, and that's okay. I don't usually eat in the evenings, but I'm prepared with some healthified snacks for if Bree wants them while watching a movie. I may or may not choose to have them. I'll decide, depending on how I feel and what I've already consumed. I'll enjoy her and the movie no matter what. That's what makes it an achievable and sustainable way of living that we can enjoy without guilt or deprivation. Going into Christmas, I knew what my non-negotiables were and where I was okay with going more with the flow. Sleep and sustained energy are high value priorities for me, so that influences my decisions the most. I've done this over the weeks leading up to the big day, and even though I'm recording this on the 20th, I'm pretty confident after years of practicing the tactics and hacks for thriving through any circumstance that I'll be content with how this past weekend went as well. What is freeing, effective, and makes it so doable is not going extreme either way. When we don't move into the, well, I might as well eat all that I can while I'm off the bandwagon, then we're less likely to self-sabotage in our overeating. One Lindor chocolate might be perfect, or one Bailey's over the holidays instead of every morning. If we think we can never eat something that's not healthy, our brains will go into scarcity thinking and offer us urges for everything because it thinks, who knows when the next opportunity might be. What if I told you that I tell my brain that I can have chocolate, chips, or ice cream anytime I want? It's true. I do. And it has an interesting effect. That rebellious teenager part of my brain calms down, and 90% of the time or more, I don't make the unhealthy choice. How? Well, the difference is I now know and understand why my brain is prompting me and have the tools and tactics and hacks that work in my favor. I know how my hunger hormones being in balance feels, as well as how it feels when they're out of whack. And I've been practicing this way of living and being for quite a few years now. There's no need for a bandwagon. Do you hear that? Let me say that one more time. There's no need for a bandwagon. It no longer exists for me, and that is also how you can live freely and with ease. 15 years ago, I had no clue about this game changer. I was on and off again. I experienced that roller coaster, that bandwagon. There are so many things I love about this lighter approach. One of them is I love that I can still feel in control when I'm relaxing and kicking back. Connection begins within ourselves, but we have to learn how to do so. It's a beautiful process that takes some teaching, coaching, practice, and a willingness to simply be open to it. It's an important skill set to develop because that connection goes deeper than what temporary pleasures bring. Not saying we can't enjoy both, because we can, but my focus is more on the people around me than what we have as accessories to that connection, like food and drinks. So what if you're listening to this and thinking, "Frig, that feels impossible," or, "Well, Clarenda, I had great intentions, but I blew it this month." Trust me, you're not alone. I received one message last week saying she had already emotionally eaten after receiving some bad news. I told her, I get it. I had an emotional eating afternoon about 2 weeks ago as well, but it was only for a short period because I knew how to get out of it in a self-compassionate way, and I reminded her that she knew as well. Hearing this, along with other coaching support, helped her regain focus right away instead of spinning or spiraling. She didn't have to fall off the wagon and wait a few weeks until she was disgusted or mad at herself to get back on. That check-in was a perfect reset that she needed. So here's my encouragement for you that is very similar. Life happens. We'll have our moments. What matters is now and moving forward. The best thing we can do is to only look to our past to be aware and clear about our default patterns so we can then decide if we want to change it. I help you do so one step at a time. Also, just know we won't always show up as our best selves. We'll overeat or overdrink or over Netflix and not get enough sleep. But here's what my clients are learning and practicing. We get to decide what we're going to make it mean. It doesn't mean we have to be in denial. No, that's not the answer or justification. Otherwise, we miss out on the learning. We get to decide that that is now part of our past, and we have this present moment to make a better choice. Do you know how much overeating, habitual eating, or mindless, bored eating that saves? Instead of eating anything and everything for the rest of the weekend, saying you'll get back on the bandwagon on Monday, you simply decide to do what you think is kind and loving for your body now and for your future self. That's the difference, my friend. That doesn't happen overnight. It does take practice. I also help my clients learn how to talk to themselves like they would to someone they love and respect. They get to enjoy their weight loss experience without wasting energy beating themselves up. That sure trumps feeling like crap. And there's no nicer way to say that. Life is too amazing to miss out on, to not show up as the best version of yourself as many days as possible. One of my health values is vitality, living with energy, being able to have the energy and fortitude to feel great, do what I want, be independent, and keep up with others. If you like the way this approach sounds, then get excited, because this is just a taste of how you'll feel in my Feel Light, Mind and Body 3-month course. Before you head off, I want to encourage you not to let this moment pass you by. So many women tell me they'll take action when life slows down, but waiting only keeps the cycle going. That's why I've opened up more 20-minute chat sessions on my calendar. This is your space, confidential, safe, and completely pressure-free, to talk through what you're finding most challenging right now. If I can help, I'll tell you how. And if not, I'll share the best next step or resource for your situation. Either way, you walk away with more clarity and peace of mind. And by the way, I have 2 options for working together virtually, one-on-one or in a small private group. Coaching and community change everything. What can feel confusing, lonely, and frustrating on your own can actually become fun, simple, and empowering with the right support. Don't wait for the perfect time. Do this for you. Your future self will thank you 100 times over. You'll find the link in the description, and if those times don't work, just reach out and we'll find one that does. Take good care, and I hope to hear from you soon. Now, do yourself the biggest favor. From love, take at least one action step from what you learned today. Knowledge without application won't give you the results that you desire. Let me know on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, what you are choosing to do and when. And yes, please leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this. When people read your words and can see themselves in them, then you are contributing to women empowering other women. And that feels amazing. You just might change or save a life today.